Yes. Yes. And yes. Thank you and welcome to the KTNG Morning Show. And as always, we like to start our day with a prayer, so please join me if you wish. Or if you're not, I don't judge you. But it goes a little something like this. Never praise like this because it makes you a slave, and definitely not like this when you got another man's tattoo on your back and it looks suspect in prison. But more so in humiliation. Thank God for my early rising in the morning and good health. Also thank God for the opportunities He places before me, so therefore I may succeed at them at His bequest and His bequest only. I also thank God for my opportunities to help those who can help themselves, but more so show them that self-reliance does work in many cases. But more so to show our enemies some sort of compassion because they know they deserve a patada in the culo. That's why Jesus Christ did 227th day to the throne of Jah himself, King Jah Rastafari. Jah Rastafari. Jah Rastafari. Thank you so much for tuning in, people. As always, the dragon of the mountain is awoke and he's speaking and he spoke. So therefore, he is wide awake. Revolutionist, constitutionalist, revelers, rioters, looters, and everybody else that can't put your pants on correctly in the morning on both legs. Welcome to the KTNG Morning Show. Like a hand massage. Simulcast today, baby. Simulcast today on YouTube and of course on Facebook. Now, if you're on YouTube, make sure you go to MushLuv'd by Jah. Okay, the D and the V are like kind of like, you know, separated, so that way you can see that. I don't have any VD. Bam. Okay. Anyway, if you're on YouTube, 9 times out of 10, all you got to do is hit subscribe, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and throw in some comments so I can address those things at a later time. Now, needless to say, on Facebook, how y'all doing? Everybody, join the conversation because it's going to be a live one today. I promise you. Okay? Anyway, this is the host of the show. You know him better as the man. That man. Okay, that's right. I'm about to do this, okay? Okay. The man from the north to the south, the east to the west, the man with the irrepressible mouth from north to south. You know me as the G to the R to the I to the T to the Z on beat. All zesty from the top of the mountain all the way down to the freeway all day. That freak on the peak who's about to speak. And when you open up your mind, you might have something to think about for the rest of the week. If not, then you are clueless. Like the newspaper reports of DMX getting out of jail and they're using DMC's picture. Wow. Okay. But I have to ask a question here. I have two questions. Now, somewhere in Africa, all 13 of the apostles had what we call English names. If Jesus basically had an Arabic name to some strange reason, why would all the rest of the guys have English names? Which only tells you that the derivative of the Bible itself, needless to say, and I hate to tell you, all of you so-called evangelical right-wing jackasses, yes, there is a whole bunch of lies that came from out of King James. Now, that's been answered. My second question, what goes on in the mind of an empty block? What goes on and dribbles from out of the empty block? Well, considering that Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall and he did fall, nobody said who pushed him. Think about it, people. Who pushed Humpty Dumpty off the wall? His own rhetoric, that's what. And today's spotlight, or as we call it today's spit, gristle orange juice. Gristle orange juice. And that's kind of, I'm talking about being a glazed donut monster here, especially on the brain. Now, let's find out what is on the brain of our nefarious apricot asshole of the year. Okay, now I watched that so-called Q&A with Sarah Huckabee. I got kicked out of a restaurant because I'm too fat to eat at home. Sanders go on and say there's nothing that ties, you know, cheeseburger into what happened to Roger Stone. Da 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 da. Here's 2 points of examination, people. First and foremost, whenever a black person or a brown person gets arrested, they are usually drawing guns wearing bulletproof vests, SWAT gear. They come to your house for a traffic ticket. They don't care if you got a shirt on or not. They will drag your ass up out of your house. Now, when Roger Stone complained, there's too much excessive, and Fox News went on and babied that whole crap up. Come on. Do you not see where privilege and class get you when you're arrested? Look at the white terrorists who got arrested. Not a shot fired. But when it comes to black militants and black terrorists and so forth, or a brown person basically trying to get away from the police, or ICE for that matter, what happens? You need a gun? Because I'm looking for one. All right. Oops, there that goes. Okay. So I don't want to hear this so-called social bias and whatnot, especially when there's no bias, no fair objectivity in the law today. As a matter of fact, it is a lawless land. So lawless that now that Cheeseburger has lost, he has ground support. His polls, his numbers in the polls look like crap. I mean, come on. Come on. He was crap when he came in. He was crap in 1984 when he told you that he would be crap. And somehow y'all didn't believe it. But then when we go back over his campaign promises, his speeches and everything, we find what? Linchpins, loopholes, and of course, nothing that makes any kind of coherent sense whatsoever. Join the conversation. Let's step with our first story on the front page of the KTNG Morning Show. Free Thought Radio, people. This is how it works. Now, I was laughing earlier about this because this idiot who swore up and down, who pulled us out of the French Accord, who swore up and down he knew everything in the world because his uncle worked at or was a professor at MIT, talking about he knows everything about climate change. Okay, mankind, all of you, we are the waste factors. We are the parasites of this planet, and we pollute it so fast and so frequently that we are willing to cause cancer to anybody that's living in Louisiana. We are willing to poison the waters that people drink out in Detroit. We are willing to put dysentery and ringworm, a thing in the deep south. We are out there just building all the things that makes Cheeseburger our dirty, rotten scandal of the moment. And here it is. From the Hill, Cheeseburger calls for global warming to come back amid winter storm. Okay, all right. Obviously, climate change is a very big thing. For anybody who says it doesn't exist, or for anybody who backs this jackass up for it, y'all sorry. You just condemned the rest of the human race along with you. Okay, this is one world. It's enough for all of us. But unfortunately, there seems to be a few snags in that whole ideology because there are some separatists who think that an ethno-state is more prevalent than anything else. And global war and climate change does not exist. Here's the story of how well it doesn't exist behind some stupid idiot who believes otherwise and has not gotten any kind of scientific clue to anything whatsoever. You're going to love this one. Cheeseburger Monday asks, what the hell is going on with the global warming and states in the Midwest prepared to face wind chills as low as minus 65 degrees below freezing this week. Minus 65 wind chills. My girl, Stephanie Rivas up in Chicago complains that it is like below 20 in some areas. Hawk and all. In the Midwest, minus 65? But we can't blame that on coal, can we? In the beautiful Midwest, wind chill temperatures are reaching minus 60 degrees, the coldest ever recorded. In coming days, expected to get even colder. People can't last outside, even for minutes. What the hell is going on with global warming? Please come back fast. We need you. Is this man off? No. Yes, he is off his rocker. So, okay, Northwest and Midwest states will face sub-freezing cold temperatures as polar vortexes descends upon that portion of the country this week. It's not going to happen here. Okay, why? Because I have a beautiful mountain here. It's all natural. It's not a freaking wall that people can actually climb over and get into the United States. Ding! But it goes from east to west. Like the senator said, if this idiot would propose a wall through Colorado, there wouldn't be no state senator or anything of that nature that would approve of it. And plus, then too, the people here would just say no, flat out. We would depose that. We would be shotgun ready to shoot any federal agents that come up and say, we're going to take your land. It's not going to go down. Now, Cheeseburger repeatedly denied the existence of climate change and has sometimes pointed to individual weather events such as evidence that climate change isn't real. Let me say that again. He says that climate change is not real. Let me go back what he says. What the hell is going on with global warming? Please come back fast. We need you. Oh, come on. Come on. That's why I've been laughing all this whole entire morning. I've been laughing about this the whole time because Cheeseburger himself doesn't know anything about, he doesn't know dick about weather. Okay, come on. Look, he didn't even show up for the New Year's Day parade. All right? During a massive snowstorm in the Midwest and Northeast earlier this month, Cheeseburger mocked global warming by writing in a tweet that, quote unquote, it wouldn't be bad to have a little of that good old-fashioned global warming right now. Be careful and try staying in your house. Large parts of the country are suffering from tremendous amounts of snow and near record-setting cold. Amazing how big this system is. Wouldn't it be bad to have a little of that good old-fashioned global warming right now? He tweeted at the time. Okay, there is something completely wrong with this picture. Of course. Here is an idiot trying to tell the rest of his idiots that global warming is a safe thing. That everybody should be living in the weather of Mar-a-Lago no matter where we're at. And the only way to do that is to sit up and placate fossil fuels, which pollute the world as it is. People walking around with bronchitis. Come on, look at Big Pharma. They're making a shitload of money on you right now. Respiratory problems, okay? Think about it. Where's that respiratory problem coming from? Coal, dirty fuels, okay? There is no EPA standards now because we threw them out of the window. And if you're getting sick behind it in this winter and people are dying from measles and the flu, go right ahead. Go right ahead. It just proves a point that you were stupid enough to die for somebody that won't die, that won't do anything for you. And after the last 35 days of him being a temper tantrum asshole, guess what? Okay, what does that prove? I'll show you what it proves. Okay, I'll show you exactly what it proves. First and foremost, because, needless to say, Cheeseburger, again, slips a Mickey on this one, all right? He slips a Mickey. Now, from Political. Cheeseburger calls Bible literacy classes in schools great. Mila, Hemp Reggae, what's going on? Where have you been? God bless. Now, Cheeseburger calls Bible literacy classes in schools great, okay? First and foremost, why are you going to do this for historical purposes, which have absolutely nothing to do with getting an education? Okay? They want to put this as an elective in schools across the board, right? To bring it back to what good old days, I don't know. We're talking like what, 1946, between World War I and World War II? Are we that stupid enough to like step back for that, to have our children brainwashed by evangelical Christians who, needless to say, have not seen the, I don't know, let's see, the metaphor in this whole thing? First, let me read you the story. Political. Cheeseburger said on Monday cheered on the controversial push to introduce Bible literacy classes in public schools. What about charter schools? What about private schools? I guess they pretty much got away from it. Secure Muhammad, Assalamu alaikum, good morning, my brother. Numerous states, including Bible literacy classes, giving students the option of studying the Bible, starting to make a turn back. Great, Cheeseburger tweeted. Yeah, then we can bring back, Catholicism in school. Whenever you do something bad, they take you out and they spank you with a paddle with a couple of holes in it so you can suck up the meat right off your butt. Like that, okay? Cheeseburger's tweets came a half an hour after Fox News, Fox and Friends, aired a segment on the subject, though his tweet was not really accurate. Of course, we're talking about a man who sits there and argues in front of a damn television set with Fox News and Fox Friends because they're his only buddies, even though they turned on him as well. Okay? Anyway, a handful of states are making pushes to introduce elective courses in schools that lawmakers say would teach the Bible in terms of its historical context. Now, I have a problem with that. If you're going to teach the Bible in historical context, Hakan, what's up? What's up? Long time no see. Man, many props. Wu-Tang's in the house, baby. Give it up. Zulu Nation, Universal Zulu Nation, y'all in the house too. Hey, So if this man's, thinking that the Bible is going to be taught in terms of historical context, I have one historical question here. How did Peter, John, and everybody else with a English-sounding first name became, parables within the Bible? Okay, how did they become like pages within the Bible? Okay, what happened to the African names that these people had? Oh, that's right, that's right. Since everything is derived from the Sumerian text about what happened, and then you're going to make up stuff and put it in the Bible and say historically this, that, and everything else. Don't forget this particular part of history, that King James, the man who authored this thing out of Catholicism and a fear of his life, dated his mother the exact same time he was writing this crap out and was changing it into a Shakespearean narrative. So therefore, the whole part of that history is booty, straight booty, okay? What are they going to teach that? Are they going to have like a picture of JFK, Martin Luther King, and the white Jesus right in the middle, right? I mean, come on. You can find that in any trailer park. Okay? Not only is this not a separation of state, as church and state, this is an intrusion. Remember, people, if you want slaves, teach them the false narratives of religion. So that way they can sit up and say, I am saved, I am saved. Saved from what? Your personal relationship with Jah, God, Buddha, whoever you pray to, is between you and your maker. To be considered into what is known as a collective for religious reasons and so forth, that's all good for the community. But when you are brainwashing kids at an early age, that's not good. Bible literacy bill of some sorts has been introduced in 6 state legislatures across the country that would require or encourage public schools to offer elective classes on the Bible's literacy and historical significance. And one state, Kentucky, recently passed a law creating a framework for such classes. Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, Dirty Snake, okay, the man who's faulted for this 35-day shutdown, uber racist, all right, straight up and down. Okay, while defenders have argued that the courses would be elected and would avoid proselytizing to students, the bill appears to be a result of coordinated push by Christian groups. Meanwhile, civil rights advocates and advocated for the separation of church and state have warned that the proposals would cross the legal line. And they are. And they are. Because it's these particular schools, public schools, the vast majority of the students that go to these public schools, black, brown. Now, for biblical subjugation, this makes it easier to control the new slaves for the simple reason because of what? Because there's historical context. Unfortunately, this is an outdated ideal. People will be able, and I'm talking about students, will be able to get their information from off the internet. WikiLeaks. Oh yes, that favorite part, okay? That favorite part where, you can find all the good information. They'll be able to research. They'll be able to find that the first universities were African-based. They'll be able to understand that not everybody, okay, in Africa is white. They'll be able to understand more than likely how, the hidden books of the Bible are available. It's the book of Eden, the book of Enoch, the book of Enlil and Enki. Okay? Think about it, people. The book of Nephilim. All those hidden books that were pulled out of, quote unquote, the American Bible system are available online. And once students have a shot at actually reading those, they're going to be contesting these sort of things. Africa, Islam, peace. What's happening, baby? What's happening, bro? Long live, long live, long live. Salam alaikum. Good morning this morning. Good morning. So the Trump administration has pursued these key policies sought by evangelicals, including allowing religious nonprofits to make political contributions, restricting abortion rights, rolling back the birth control mandate, and expanding school choice and voucher programs that many say would benefit private religious schools. Its Justice Department has also established a task force on religious liberty aimed at shielding religious groups from discrimination. Really? Okay, well, let me ask you this. Professor Nigerian, of those religious groups and so forth that do condemn these sort of things, how many of them do have in the closet, LGBTQ people? who are discriminated because of their sexual orientation, as well as people who can sit there and say, well, you know, if you come into my cake store, as you see, wish to good down today, must working again, peace. No problem, Makan. Don't worry, I give you props. Many thanks for coming through. Many thanks, many thanks, many thanks. But the problem here is that when we have church and state involved in schools, it kind of puts me like, you know, thinking of some Logan Run crap. I'm not sure if anybody remembered that so-called movie where you die at the age of 30 and they recycle you, okay? Nasty ordeal, nasty ordeal. But it gets even worse. It gets even worse. Oh my God, it gets even worse. Because these particular religious priorities are, you know, hit that with that straw man contract. Hard, that's right, bam, straight up. This is like, you know, come on, this is ridiculous. How are you going to sit there something like that on public schools? Now let's see, aren't public schools, you know, pretty much like funded by the state? And if the state has some sort of charter of like running those schools, how many of those teachers are actually going to back out of this thing? This is some crap that Mike Pence, you know, Mike Pence, Roger Stone is like, you know, there's a gross comparison here. You look at Mike Pence and you look at Roger Stone and you which one looks like who after the first drink. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that when you bring those particular electives into school, you are not only asking for a one-sided debate, you're also encouraging people to actually look at the truth for where they're going to find it. Is that going to improve what? What is that going to improve? That's not going to improve anything. You still have the Kentucky Catholic school system that marched up to Washington to what, oh my God, demonstrate against the rights of women. Against the rights of women. In which we have a complete Congress, a Senate, or a Republican body that just hates women altogether. No wonder they got that stupid ass site, Date Trump. Okay, Date Trump. Date them leftovers that Trump got. Speaking of bad business policies altogether, it is a bad business. It is bad business to even indoctrinate that. If you want people to learn about the history of the Bible, send them to Sunday school. Send them to Sunday camp, summer camp, that sort of thing. But to make this an elective in a school, grade school, high school, anything of that nature that has nothing to do with the progression of this country whatsoever, when everybody else around the world is leading in, let's see, technology, let's see, making, you know, long ass addresses, you know, Bitcoin addresses, improving life, making invention, that sort of thing. We don't have that particular scope here. We're stuck on giant robot, Voltron, and anything else that we can find out of the liquor store that was like, you know, kicked out of the 99-cent store that was made in China from that point on. Okay, that's how far our technology, our base of understanding technology is. Okay, we want to be so centrally based that we're number one on this. No. We're bad business for the rest of the world because nobody wants to work. I mean, come on. Cheeseburger tried to hire some TPS people to work in his factory, his winery. Okay, he tried to hire some more people to work in his winery, knowing that he had to fire some undocumented immigrants out of his golf course. Reuters. CEOs around the world sour on Trump policies, warn they hurt business investment. Switzerland, coming from Reuters, y'all like this one, from center stage in Davos last year. Cheeseburger told the world's corporate bosses that America would be a great place to invest, and so far it hasn't been as of that. It hasn't turned out that way. We had 3 government shutdowns in 2 years. Okay, more than any president in this entire history of the country. We've had this jackass commit human rights violations, second to Maduro. Story goes on like this, people. Foreign direct investment to the United States fell in 2018, and companies gathered at the World Economic Forum in Swiss Alps this year, as they are worried that Cheeseburger's trade war with China will dampen the global economy and business investments even further. Okay? Now, let's put that on the table real quick, and let me show you what you guys are eating on. There are no food inspectors. Farmers have yet to be. Farmers are not going to be paid as regularly as like they thought they were. Okay, And number three, which I find very, 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 very funny about this, is that because of the trade wars that we do have, America comes in, China throws on. America comes in, China throws on. China's doing pretty great. As a matter of fact, China's doing so great in the trade war that they're helping their impoverished. We can't do that here. Not at all. Not at all. We can't do that. Our political infrastructure doesn't allow us to take care of the poor. Period. All right? So, I guess that is part of biblical history that you're going to teach in public schools, that everything in the Bible is not true. You must believe in your government first. Really? While the U.S. administration has cut taxes and regulations to attract new investment, a wave of caution is rippling through many of the industries in the United States. Trade war has been very damaging for the United States agricultural economy, says David McGlinnan, chief executive of the U.S. food and agricultural giant Cargill Incorporated, which announced worse than expected results out of the China earlier in January. Can we say recession? Can we say let's fall into this nice big hole that jackasses made for us all together? But we still support him. We do still support him. Why? Because he's your commander-in-chief, your master of disaster, your obey your man altogether. Okay, Mr. Shit Shingle himself, your orange disaster, cheese, burger. For real. Foreign investments in the United States, which includes cross-border mergers and acquisitions and intra-company loans, fell about 18% in 2018 from a prior year. It's not Obama's fault, all right? That's close to 19% year on year. Drop in foreign investments globally. So people are pulling their money up out of here. I guess so, after the Deutsche Bank money laundering scheme that fell through for the, Russian collusion. It's all adding up. Mueller's getting this all stuff together, and they're doing all of this 9 times. They're doing all of this, people, before the end of the first fiscal part of the year, which ends in February. Imagine, everything happens during Black History Month. Isn't that great? Wow. That's crazy. That's straight crazy. That's straight crazy. All right? So in the interim of this whole thing, it's a ripple effect. The U.S.-China trade war has hit industries around the world over the past few months. Big Chinese companies like Alibaba have shrunk their plans to invest in the United States. Taiwan-based Foxconn has scaled back its plans for a Wisconsin factory. And this Wisconsin factory was done on eminent domain about 6 months ago. This is behind Paul Ryan as well, okay, before he left out of Congress. But Mike Pence and Paul Ryan sat there and told people there were going to be a huge factory here. You guys are going to work making television. Flat panel television screens. What do we have here? They have scaled back plans for a Wisconsin factory. Now, the people who basically sold their homes to the government already got their cash already. They got very little, next to nothing for market value. There's a few holdouts. Y'all hang on, because now the ride's about to get bumpier. All right? In September, Australia's fiber producer Lenzing halted a planned U.S. expansion, blaming rising tariffs between the United States and China. Chinese textiles exports to the United States are among the goods facing tariffs. Lenzing mothballed a $322 million project in Alabama to focus on setting up a new production facility in Thailand. Why do you think Jeff Bezos and them do a lot of their Amazon business through Vietnam? Okay? Why do we have all these infrastructures in the Asian Pacific coast archipelago there between Guam, Thailand, Taiwan, Hong Kong, okay, Vietnam, okay, the Philippines? Need I say more? Because they give away a lot of the tax breaks back to the quote-unquote rich people. This is a very disgusting thing. Come on. Volkswagen said earlier this month that they would invest $800 million to build a new electric car and its plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Toyota and Mazda were working on a new assembly plant in Dahmer, and BMW investing in existing operations. They already have one down in South Carolina. But the economic malaise driven by the upending of trade flows is hitting tech companies hard due both the supply chain disruption and the economic slowdown in China. China holds the United States by the fucking nuts. They've been doing so, man. The United States on its own has been owing China on bond measures since 1979. And we haven't paid them yet. Oh, that's right. Y'all didn't see that change from Radio Shack to Tandy. Okay? Tandy is owned by who? And then they sold the name back as a joke because of people familiarity with the product brand. Moving right along. Okay, so therefore, there are a lot of companies that are basically overseas that want to invest in the United States, but because of this just stupid trade war that this jackass put together, it ain't going down. Many of Americans who have lost their homes, you're not going to see much out of it, okay? And all those people who are thinking that jobs are coming back to America, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Our industry's infrastructure is so crappy right about now. I am surprised that there are not more people drawing welfare than anything else. And let's see, I think it's 70% of the people who are on welfare are, they sure ain't black and brown. Kevski, what's up? What's up? Moving right along, people. Moving right along. Let's get back to one of the things that we all love here, and that's our halfway report, our halftime report here. Halftime. We're at the halfway point here. Sorry about that. I'm just dribbling all over the place. This is KTNG, HCCAM.org, KTNG 501c status nonprofit. Therefore, we work with the public. We are the voice of the voiceless, and therefore we are protecting the First Amendment as we go. Get to our webpage at KTNG, and get yourself a mug. Show you support what we do here. Okay? This mug holds everything from, lemonade to pot to money. Yeah, there you go. Also, while you're at it, for everybody on YouTube and so forth, okay, for everybody on YouTube, I want you guys to check this out. You can get, okay, how about my scene? Well, I tell you, there you go. You can actually get this book here. It's a book, great book of perseverance and hope and faith. And it all boils down to like how you can arrive at these things if you have a little faith in what you do. So that's basically the summary of it. But it's a lot of interesting adventures in between. So on YouTube, you can get to our website or at KTNG 860AM, and you can also find these books, The Iron Tree, let's see, Happier Than a Big Bowl of Oranges, and The Art of Eve for all of you incels that are having problems with your ladies. Learn how to be a man, damn it, jeez, or an alpha male for that matter, but don't be no alpha male that goes out there and starts shooting people. Anyway, now, because of Cheeseburger's irregular business of saying that you can invest in America, okay, somehow that triggered a landslide. It did. It triggered a landslide. Remember, and I'm not sure if you guys remember this, about 8 months ago, Cheeseburger made one of the biggest political mistakes he could possibly make under his ego. What was that? He sat up there and he called the Koch brothers a bunch of whiffling jackasses. Now, okay, from Axios, Koch operations cast a wary eye on tech regulations. Why? Follow the money on this one. In New West, California, the influence network led by billionaire Charles Koch is watching a growing push to regulate big tech firms with alarm. The big picture for the libertarian-owned network of political and philanthropic groups. Regulations is the enemy. And even though many others on the right bristle at what they see as an anti-conservative bias by big tech platforms, the Koch crowd is not ready to cheer government intervention. Because Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez threw the ball on the court for making sure that corporations and big corporate people like themselves, like the Koch brothers, can put more money into the infrastructure of this country to protect it. If not, at least do something for the poor. Which I gotta look at this advertising sign, this sign advertisement of Deion Sanders and the Koch brothers working together. I don't get it. Somehow somebody's gonna get played. And they're trying to do something for poverty. One of them. Why it matters? Though the Koch network has seen its influence wax and wane under Cheeseburger, whom it did not back, it nonetheless possesses powerful tools to shape policy, debates, and influence elections. Collusion? American collusion. I guess so, with the Electoral College that was bought off. It was rigged. Everybody knows that, okay? So take, for example, of privacy. What's the actual problem they're trying to solve? Jesse Blumenthal, who leads the Charles Koch Foundation tech policy work, said that the network's winners donor retreat in this country club town. Okay, it said at its network's winter donor retreat at this country club town. The country club town they're talking about is Colorado Springs. I'm like no more than like 5 miles away from the freaking hotel. All right. These guys come here once a year, and they do so in the earlier part of the year. I think pretty much in the later part of the year, around October. Halloweeny. The staffer at the Political American for Prosperity wrote an op-ed warning about the potential for heavy-handed policy and regulations. Cook, or Cock, whatever you want to call him, okay? They published a paper in December arguing that as Congress grapples with the increasing digital legibility of the world, it should not attempt to freeze its evolution through legislation. You know what's going to happen here, right? Koch brothers are going to basically buy somebody to beat this crap. Moving right along, okay? Page 2. Alrighty. So it all comes down to what is known as an elective period. The elective period in which we are all seeing right now, okay, has been thrusted into what we call a spectrum. A spectrum of, therefore, changing the narrative, changing the paradigm, changing the financial paradigm of this country, as well as changing the face of this country, needs to happen. And who has more power than you think? Because the road to the 2020 goes through women of color. Now, why are they being pushed up front? Why? Because there's enough of us black males out there sitting with, I'd say about 80% of us are sitting in prison or jail because we're trying to act like men, okay, to satisfy the wants and the irresponsible wants of an impatient woman. BuzzFeed News, a network of women of color, is planning a 2020 presidential forum this spring. Okay? It's not we the people anymore, it's she the people. Check this out. National Network of Women of Color in Politics is planning a presidential forum in April to question candidates specifically about the issues concerning women of color, the organization announced Thursday. No presidential campaigns have committed to attending the forum yet, but Amy Allison, the founder of the organization, said the campaign of people still mulling presidential runs are aware of the opportunity to speak directly with women of color. Kamala Harris is going to do so, which means whatever Schultz is doing, whatever this coffee guy doing for, as trying to run and everything, it's going to look, I'm telling you, it's going to look like a Ralph Nader fiasco. That's what he's running. That's what he's trying to do. Which happened, if anybody remembers, that when Ralph Nader ran, every time Bush won. And what happened? 9/11, we needed some total massive change in order to make sure that we are moving our agendas forward. And what better way than to have collateral damage of our own and blame it on somebody else? Really, that's what we got. Catch and release blame. And, I applaud them for doing it because women of color are interested if in these candidates are really serious about what they want to see in this country. They have an agenda. This is a chance for these candidates to make their case about why they deserve their support. Of course they deserve our support. If you look around the world, people, and say like in some different tribes and whatnot, you will see that women do a lot of the negotiation for what they want in their households. The men sit back and carve on wood. They whittle. They make babies. And they hold city councils. They hold council of what rules and what will work. But when it comes to actual negotiation, women are there first. All right? So don't get it twisted, people. Now, something that I know the United States is very guilty of, which is called human rights violations. Ding! Second to Maduro, have all come up with something out of the Daily Beast, in which I kind of find like really, 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 really bad. And it stems upon the racist activities of our government. It stems on the racism that we see on a day-to-day basis. And here it is, people. Uh-oh. Okay. Mexico won't accept migrant children without U.S. asylum, who are waiting on U.S. asylum. Okay? Flags, flags, in the face. Yeah, seriously. Seriously. This is some true. Before I even get to that stuff, this is so true. This is so true, Islam. This is so true. Because one, throwing up these false flags is nothing throwing up a smoke screen. The smoke screens themselves and whatnot are hiding two things. Money. Okay? They're hiding the money. And two, they're trying to hide the blame behind it. With Robert Mueller not divulging anything anything at all, he's going to wait till the last moment and lower the boom on him. And who better than to turn Roger Stone into what we call a snitch? Oh, that's right. Now that the government's open, the FBI can now pay the snitches. Okay. So when we have all these false flags coming up from different corporations who see that investing in America is a bad ideal because of this trade war, Cheeseburger has got to go back to China and say, look, I caved in on the wall. Can I cave in front of you? This makes this human centipede that much more funny. First, you got Putin at the head of the centipede. Then you got Cheeseburger. Then you got, Cohen. Then you got Roger Stone. Then you got, Xi Jinping. Okay, and then you got Duterte. And then you got every other straw man. Maduro seems to like cut himself off the ass end of the human centipede here. Okay, that's a nasty ordeal, man, because you're sucking up shit. Anyway, Mexico won't accept migrant children waiting on asylum. Head of Mexico's immigration agency on Monday said the country will not accept immigrants under 18 if they await outcome of their U.S. asylum claims and move that could disrupt the Cheeseburger administration remain in Mexico policy. The Associated Report. The only reason why Cheeseburger put that policy out there is so he can build the wall first, then say, okay, now you're going to plead your asylum cases, but asylum cases are going to be chopped up because we have now decided on the rule of law of what sexual assault is. You have to be physically assaulted. It doesn't have anything to do with brainwashing. It doesn't have to do with, years and years of subjugated subversion, okay? It does not matter if your life is being threatened. It does not matter if your economic malaise is due to a Monroe Doctrine that we've already placed in Central America, as well as MS-13. Never mind the MAGA 6. Okay? All right. So the National Immigration Institute Commission, Julian said Mexico will only accept asylum seekers aged 18 to 60 from Guatemala, El Salvador, or Honduras, and only at El Chaparral border crossing in Tijuana. He said Mexico will not extend the policy beyond the border crossing, despite the U.S. reportedly expressing an interest in doing so. Why? Okay, straight up, the hands are quicker than the eyes. It truly is. So while the American public is sitting up there saying, okay, well, we don't want nobody coming across our walls or anything like that. We don't want no refugees, blah, 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 and all that mess. They keep forgetting. Stop asking for TPS workers to come here to work without benefits and therefore work on a small part-time basis, and then you boot them out of the country. That's using people in the wrong way. Notice that DACA is not even in the nation. But Stephen Miller would have something to say about that. You know Stephen Miller, the man that looks like Nosferatu with a freaking head that looks like something out of a lava lamp shop that went bad? Okay. Newsweek. Stephen Miller said he'd be happy with no refugees. This is the senior policy advisor who reportedly once told former White House communications aide Cliff Sims that he would be content if not a single refugee entered the United States ever again. Now, Sims, needless to say, is the man. He has written a book, and Cheeseburger is pissed. Okay? Because Sims basically was the guy who leaked information about the guys who were leaking information that were on Cheeseburger's shit list. And Cheeseburger got rid of them, except for the guy who snitched on them. And now has written down all the misgivings of Cheeseburger and what he is in the White House. All right? And that's the funny part. That's the freaking funny part to me, because if, Sims had described, what the Cheeseburger administration was about, then 9 times out of 10, understandingly, Cheeseburger never reeled himself in. That's why they're sitting up there saying, okay, now that we got out of this government shutdown, slow your roll, stay in your lane. You know full well, constitutionally, you cannot call a national act of emergency to build a wall. Okay, the vanity project for this medieval bullshit ends now. Okay? Miller's taking a hard line immigration stance during his time with the Cheeseburger administration, orchestrating some of the president's more controversial policies. He's known for being influential in the administration's zero-tolerance immigration approach that led to thousands of families being separated at the southern border. We caused a diaspora here that we're not looking at. And where are those kids now? Where are those parents? Where are the parents of those kids that already got deported and we still keeping the kids? What for? For money? Wow. We have ICE working on the benefit, working on the same terror tactics as Nazi Germany used to have their SS when they were looking for Jews in different areas. Keep in mind, okay? Miller's uncle, David Glosser, wrote an op-ed in Politico last summer blasting the advisor as an immigration hypocrite. Glosser also added that he said he watched with dismay as increasing horror as my nephew, an educated man who is well aware of his heritage, has become an architect of immigration policies that recapitulate the very foundation of our family's life in this country. We represent that. We represent segregation. We represent the epitome of total bias against people of color in this country. Of course we do. That's what America's famous for. Come on, look at the disparity between those who are arrested as people of color by the police and those who have money. Those who are, I don't know, I guess have that certain amount of privilege and affluence, that sort of thing. There is no difference than Fox News sitting here complaining about somebody being arrested with an overabundance of SWAT team with gear that the U.S. government did pay to give to the police department. I mean, didn't Cheeseburger allow that to happen and give, say, like, you know, the police departments and the FBI their gear to do this sort of thing? Yet still nobody says anything on Capitol Hill about black people being heroes and stopping terrorists. Homeboy's still sitting in Florida waiting for his, like, you know, quote unquote invitation. What for? You only gonna get 2 Big Macs out of the whole damn deal. Anyway, okay, so now that we got this out of the way, and we understand that Sims has been describing the White House as a chaotic place of racism altogether. He's proven it. I mean, come on. We see it all day. When Cheeseburger goes off the teleprompter and starts talking about his wall, his mess-ups, his Adderall sniffing nose in all of the people, and all of his talks, 9 times out of 10, doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. It sounds like the same rhetoric as though, you know, come on. I mean, Roger Stone had the Promise Boys or Lost Boys, whatever it is, that racist Aryan group, be his bodyguards. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Okay? What does that tell you? It tells us one thing and one thing only, that no matter what you do in this country, you are subject to scrutiny that is far worse than anything else that you can be judged by when you're on your final day. Let me give you one more here, people, so this way you can understand that Cheeseburger is just basically, you know, an influence on a lot of people, right? It's a story came from out of, I guess, what? Let's see, USA Today. Hey, come back here, damn it. I love it when stuff about things like this happen and so forth. By the way, I live like about 12.5 miles away from NORAD, North American Strategic Air Defense and so forth, where we launched the nuclear missiles from this point, not in the state, but from everywhere else. Seriously. So everybody else is sitting on his atomic bomb. Anyway, the story is about a restaurant that is ran by somebody who came here as an immigrant. For 13 years, he worked and he hired people. One day, I guess yesterday, one of his customers decided to leave a note on the back of the check in which they bought dinner or lunch, whatever. It says, "Don't tip immigrants." Now, for somebody to come off their face to write that on a check, to tell people don't tip immigrants, you know what that means? You know what that means? It means that for some stupid reason, people out there believe that immigrants are terrible. Immigrants are bad dudes. Immigrants are going to come out here and take our jobs, or they're going to do something horrible to our children and da-da-da-da-da. Granted, and this is facts, people, 72% of the white terrorism that goes on in the United States is done by white people. Most of this is, and 69% of it is racially motivated against blacks. 32% of it is racially motivated against browns. And another 3 to 5 to 3% against anybody else. Notice that the Asians kind of slide through there, all right? I mean, come on, you don't want to mess with Bruce Lee. Okay, straight up. Hate to like, you know, put it like that, but that's America. Because this is how all that started. During World War I, all the way up until the Korean War, propaganda from the United States about black troops have been filtered all the way through it. Okay? And to this day, man can't get solid justice in this country. You can get 3 hots in a squat, 3 hots in a squat, pretty much. Okay? We are economically, okay, in a zone of segregation. For the simple reason because ownership is not within our path. Ownership is not on our plate. And when we do own something, here comes the cultural vulture parasite that says, you know something, let me exploit that, because truth is, a lot of 80% of our black community is nothing more than spectators, consumers. They want entertainment. Those of us who go out and try and make the entertainment are not supported by those who sit up and enjoy it. For real. If that wasn't the case, we would not be clout chasing everybody from left to right that has done something horrible in our communities, to our communities, by our communities. Oh, Europeans are American immigrants by force. Yes, by religious dichotomy that happened between the Puritans and, of course, this church, the Satanic Church of England. Okay, I understand that. I totally understand that. And now that they're here, they want to boot everybody else out. Make way. Really? Really? Okay? Are you European in my soup? Okay? European in my soup with this one. We cannot have a diverse bloc. We cannot have diversity run this country the way it's supposed to. Because after all, there's no justice on stolen land. Look at what the Native American is going through to keep pipelines from going through his territories. Okay? Black Wall Street. Look what happened to that. That was bombed from the air. We got a black Mecca called Atlanta, which is now suffering. Okay? Suffering from voter racism. We have a lot of things out there, people, but we're just not connected and we're just not united in putting those things together. The only way that's going to happen, is when we take the labels that we have on us off. See ourselves as actual human beings that want something right and done right. Okay? It's simple. It's real simple. From the writer of the Redneck Bible, okay? Take off those chains. Take off those chains that you put on yourself and your community puts on you. Okay? Stop being the fucking victim. Turn it around and let's start victimizing, all right? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Seriously. Seriously, people, we cannot sit here and then for some stupid reason entertain the thought that we are going to win if we sit up there and we wait for it. Action. If nothing comes to a dreamer but a dream, then the dream has to be acted on in order for it to provide a future. And anybody that says that 9 times out of 10 doesn't know jack shit. Okay? For real. I'm serious. Look at what hip hop has done on a dream. It has conquered this world for the advocacy against the status quo, against racism, against control of one's thoughts. The fight and the struggle will continue and will remain continuous as long as we allow it to grow, to nurture, and to teach other people that, yes, we can do better, but we are the best at what we do. So therefore, why can't we collectively say, enough of the bullshit, let's get this done? First, we need a plan. We don't need 40,000 motherfuckers throwing in all kinds of weird shit. We just need a solid plan. A solid plan to get us from A to B. And once we get to B, then it's all bets are right. Cool. Believe me, when you hang around subversive groups and so forth, I've been doing this for 27 years. When you hang around subversive groups, you start to see exactly how it works. Now, the only problem that Maduro had because of his practices and everything, they're trying to lump it in as socialism. No, that was an individual dictator. Dictator and socialism does not fit in the same damn sentence. It doesn't. Okay? So, miss me with that. The UN is wrong on that ideology, especially when the United States encouraged it. They encouraged a coup. Look what they did with MS-13. How do you get rid of a gang in Los Angeles and put them in freaking Central America to cause what we got now at the border? It's me with that. Creepers, people. I swear. We got a stupid-ass government. We really do. We have a stupid-ass government. Okay? And for the life of this world, everybody else sees it but the main idiot. Cheeseburger. All right, people, let me say good morning because I am now 5 minutes into the walk zone, as we call it. I got to walk up out of here. I'm all the way out here. Okay? KTNG860am.org, as you know, people, is what we call Unified Community Broadcasting, Talk and Soul Radio for all of Colorado Springs and the world. And for the reason being that I'm all the way out here, I'm in the village that Tesla made. That's right. I'm also in the same city and where there was a, a black detective that actually got infiltrated in KKK. But I'm also in the state where they got rid of all kinds of wording for slavery out of its constitution. Amazing. And we have governors and we have state politicians here who fight this governor on a day-to-day basis. Good morning, Tina Hightower. What's going on? Fantastic, you are. Yes, Mirage Carlton, good morning. Walter Jakes, good morning. Rodney Allen Rippey, good morning. You know him. Jamie Menton, good morning. Mark Briggs, good morning. Bridget Larkins, good morning. Also, Helen Bino, good morning. Chris Alexander, good morning. Eva Santiago, good morning. Jean-Francois Steele, good morning. Oh yeah, I'm going to make sure I get to the back of it. Yes, people, I do have an issue with sight in my eye. I'm not going to lie. I do have a serious sight problem going on here. And if I am, messing up on people's names and so forth, it's because of that. Therefore, also, Kathleen May Lamas, good morning. Okay, yes, okay. Gloria Anderson, good morning. Darius Modeliski, good morning. Walter Wazadi, good morning. I love it. Juan Garcia, good morning. Rafael Rodriguez, good morning. Okay. Also, Zulu Heidi Gardner, good morning. Okay. Also, Lynn True, good morning. Tom Bacon, good morning. That's right. Robert Duck and Mag. Robert Duck Mag. Okay, good Lord. Oh my goodness. Gerald Reinstein, good morning. Jason Anthony, good morning with your crazy self. Also, Lindy Stanger, good morning. Julian Ramirez, good morning. He's just coming in and whatnot. Lindy Stanger, good morning. Prince Malloy, good morning. Ernest Franklin, good morning. Luke Cage, Power Man, good morning. Salt and Pepper, good morning. It's about time. I ain't seen y'all in a minute. Ross Bernard Benzema, good morning. Good morning to everybody around the world. Domo domo to my friends in Japan. Domo domo to my friend Yuka Matsuda Tanaguchi, good morning. Eto, good morning. Oh my God, hold up. I gotta definitely get my boy in because he always checks out my shows on Facebook and everything. Taguchi Nakako, good morning. Domo domo. Manny Gonzalez Reyna, good morning. Let's see. Also, Kevin Hickman Sr., good morning. August Williams Jr., Jordan III, good morning. That's right. And let's see, who else? My God. It's a good thing I got to the back end of this. Lucella Testa, good morning. Good morning. And let's see. Oh, Miko J. West, good morning. And let's see, who else we got here? Naomi, good morning. Okay. Oh my goodness, so many people. I could, I'm just gonna have to cut this short. African Islam, good morning. Thank you for basically coming through and making sure that we keep on our words of wisdom, but more importantly, that we put out what we do here on a day-to-day basis. Because let's face it, we got a crackhead running the White House. Cocaine, Adderall, crack, whatever he's doing and everything. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. So, if anything, I want to thank you guys for coming through. Get out there and make something happen. And in order to do that, it's simple. Put a smile on somebody's face today and see what happens. not only do you lift their burden, but you also show some sort of humanity. And by showing that sense of humanity, we are all connected. And because we're all connected, that makes us that much better than the sum of one. All of us join together as human beings, and we do our thing. We can move things. We can make this. We can change this and change the narrative and the paradigm that exists in this country altogether. So, with that and all, people, I do appreciate everybody coming through and your support. But most importantly, I enjoy what I do here. KTNG860am.org, people. That's right. This has been the KTNG Morning Show. We're closed in. We're like, all in for everything for like the International Spinners Club. But we're 501c status nonprofit, and we will do our fund drive. And by Friday, we will be off the air for a bit, and come back Monday because we are moving into our new spot. So I've been packing. From the Cool Edit crew, thank you very much for coming through. And most importantly, people, love, peace, and chicken grease. Yes. All power to the people, or people to a purpose, especially against the almighty cheese.